leading cause of is a leading cause of death worldwide, and it kills nearly 300,000 people per year, and 80% of this death occurs in developing countries. The reasons behind this high death toll is because of the lack of early cancer detection. Let me tell you a story of Basubjai. Basubjai lived in Mukdahan. She ran a small shop in town to earn a living. One day, she felt strange, so she went to see a doctor. She did the first screening test called pap smear. She waited a month later to get her test result. Her test results are abnormal. The same doctor referred her to hospital in Phang Nga for the colposcopy process. But Basubjai always hesitated to go because 5-hour drive from Mukdahan to Phang Nga could mean she has to close her shop down for 1 to 2 days and leave her kids at home. She couldn't do that. So she waited until she couldn't stand the pain any longer. Eventually, she went to Phang Nga hospitals, but she found out she already reached stage 3 cervical cancer. Too late. Too late because she's only had less than 40% chance to survive. But if cervical cancer can be detected earlier, she would have more than 90% chance to live. DeepScan has solutions. With the current process, the first process is called, the initial screening process called pap smear. Pap smear is easy, accessible, even though a small hospital can do it, it's not a problem. The problem comes up if the pap smear results are abnormal. The patient will be sent to the larger hospital for the colposcopy process. However, in the colposcopy process, the doctor will examine the cervix and cut out sample tissues for further diagnosis. However, this process is a multi-step process because with the current colposcopy system, they can't pinpoint exactly where cancer tissues are. So it requires multiple visits for a doctor to remove the cancer tissues completely. We have solutions. With DeepScan, the patients can just come to hospitals just one visit, just one single visit, because DeepScan allows the doctor to see exactly where's cancerous tissues. So in just one visit, the doctor can cut that tissues completely. So DeepScan helps to reduce time and pain, as it helps to reduce cancer detection time and cancer treatment time from months to the matters of minutes. DeepScan also increases accessibility. Now, not only just for hospitals in northeastern regions can have access to full cervical cancer checkup, but other small hospitals can have access too. Basubjai can just go to Mukdahan and receive her cervical cancer check and cervical cancer treatment there. DeepScan also helps doctors to give more precise treatment because DeepScan makes sure that doctors do not overcut normal tissues, so it means lower bleeding and lower infection rates, and so lower safe treatment cost.
So, what gives us to deliver such a benefit? Our core technology is the miniaturized confocal laser imaging. The confocal laser imaging, the laser beam is emitted into the tissues. The cells will absorb the light and then re-emit it back, but with a different wavelength and intensities. And in turn, the imaging station will capture that light and generate images, allowing the doctor to identify good cells and bad cells. And by the way, these are the real images from our lab prototype. One more important feature of confocal is that the laser beam can penetrate deep down under the tissues, so it can generate images not only the surface of the tissues, but also deep down underneath it. However, this technology is nothing new. It has been existed for more than 50 years, with the size of this big machine. What makes our device so special is the microelectromechanical system, or MEMS, which is the area of expertise of our researchers. MEMS is a small moving part that allows us to precisely control the depth of the laser. It's the same technology they use to build the microchip for the computers. So in short, DeepScan can perform the same task as this big machine, but in the size of a AA batteries. So when it is assembled to our handheld device and imaging stations, DeepScan can help doctors to detect cancers fast, efficient, and precise. Therefore, we can reduce the cancer infection time from months into a matter of minutes. So how are we going to make money out of this? For DeepScan, The hospital can either buy the whole unit at the price of $91,500 US, or they can pay per usage, $45 per time. This is our strategic flexibilities in terms of distribution channel. So now all products can be reached by big and small hospitals. Therefore, DeepScan can increase accessibility of cancer detections to those in need. Since 80% of cancer deaths occur in developing countries, our first target market is Thailand. As Thailand is a developing country with immediate need for these technologies, and we are all Thai citizens who have high understanding of Thai market. So we're going to use Thailand as a springboard to expand to other countries. There are 1,400 hospitals in Thailand, which can be segmented into 3 groups. The first one, the one that can do full cancer check and full cancer analysis, 120 hospitals. Second one, the hospital that can only the cancer check, 320 hospitals. And the last one, the one that can do some basic cancer screening, 960 hospitals. Our target is the first few groups. As this first few groups already do the cancer checking, and our product will be very beneficial for them. Our first customer is Chulalongkorn Hospital, one of the leading hospitals in Thailand. Right now, we are on the process of conducting a field trial with them. More than that, we are going to expand to other leading hospitals in Thailand, which include Silas Hospital, Rama Tivoli Hospital, Brahmakus Hospitals. As this hospital has a medical school, and they do a lot of research and publication, and they learn new technologies. This group of customers will build on our reputation and become our reference in order to expand to local and international markets. We have a solid team that comprises of medical, research, equipment, and business field. My name is Shachai. I'm the CEO of DeepScan, who's going to lead the commercialized team. Dr. Gun Piyawachana Mehta, who is here with us today, he is a MEM expert from UCLA and Stanford universities. He has been working in MEM and optical technologies for more than 10 years and has more than 50 publication papers in this area. He is also one of our shareholders. Furthermore, DeepScan also have expert board advisors who are experts in cancer, research, and medical equipment.
DeepScan already received development funding of $1 million from NASA and RCT. Our first operational model at the first field trial at Chulalongkorn Hospital will be done by the end of next year. The IP protection is in the process. For the next step, we are doing the multi-trial center with other specialized hospitals, and then we're going to first commercialize our products. After that, we're looking to further market expansions. We're going to look into the areas of other types of cancers, and also we're looking into the international market expansions. Also, DeepScan focus intensively on continuous research and development. Here's our product pipeline. With our current model, DeepScan has to be used with a colposcope. The next generation of DeepScan will have the colposcope features. So now there's no longer need for a colposcope, just one DeepScan can do everything. The second product is a mini probe version. At the moment, our probe size is the size of AA battery. We want to shrink it even smaller into the size of straw, which can use to detect GI and colon cancers. Because Thailand is our springboard, so we forecast our sale of 200 DeepScan units within 5 years. 130 units will be sold as a whole unit, and another 70 will be used as a pay per usage basis. With these, we give us a projected revenue of $4.6 million within 5 years and a net income of $1.6 million. In order to launch this project, we need the additional investment of $1 million. 60% we use for launching our product into the Thai market and the company's operations. Another 40% will be used for R&D to conduct field trial and also to developing our follow-on products. Then we add 30% discount rate, $2.2 million with an IRR of 25% and expected payback 2.5 years. So the initial injection of $100,000 will come from the management team. We are here to ask for another $900,000 in return for 40% share of equities and 45% IRR investors' investment. Other than financial benefits, the motivations behind such innovations is to save life. Because by saving one person's life per year, you could create social benefits of at least $22,000 per person per year. To come up with this number, we took two approaches. First, we look at the reduction of treatment cost. Early detection is the key to beat cervical cancer. If cancer is detected early, you can save on treatment costs substantially, and we estimate this number to be $18,000 per person per year. For the second approach, it's harder to quantify because we save life. And we don't want to put a price on people's life. So we take a very modest approach, looking at the productivity per year based on minimum wages, and we come up with $4,000 of productivity per person per year. But I'm sure that we all know that human life is priceless. It's worth more than that number. We believe that the total social benefit came up to 83 million, at least $83 million, which means it's equivalent to 38 times of every single dollar you invest in us. We believe that what's scary about cancer is not about having cancer, it's not knowing that you have cancer. With DeepScan, you not just save Thailand's life, you save the life of her friends, her family, and also you save life of people you love. So join us, together we can save life. Thank you.
Thank you, DeepScan. We have 3 minutes left for Q&A session, and the team that has not presented, please leave the room. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a question about Pa Somchai, right? So how much would Pa Somchai have to pay to use your technology?
Yes, as I told you before, the current process of the biopsy or the colposcopy is very repeatedly processed. And one time, she has to pay $100 the one time, and it has to be done repeatedly. So it's going to be a lot more than that. But for our product, DeepScan, we're going to charge the hospital $45 per usage. So the hospital can have the benefit of charging an extra profit on that. And also for the patients, they're going to pay less than the current process. Also, they're going to do it only one time. That's it.
Okay, I guess my question is, because the $45 is the price that you charge the hospitals, right?
Yes.
So, and in the report, you mentioned that the hospital charges maybe around $100 to $200. The question is, if Pa Somchai cannot afford even, the $100, then do you have have you thought about any potential financing for that?
Thank you for your question. First of all, we would like to mention that the price that the patient pay is not actually reflected in the actual cost of the product. For example, it can be reimbursed by the government and the social insurance program. So the actual cost that Pa Somchai pay might be less than $45. But when we compare the cost for the hospital, who is the customer, not the consumer, it is still very affordable for them, because currently they have to pay $100, but our price is still cheaper at $45.
Yeah, we totally understand your point. You're trying to get into is that to increase more accessibility to more people. This is also our vision. So right now we are working with CAP. CAP is an NGO that focuses on the cervical cancer. It's a US-based NGO, and they have a lot of they have headquarters in many corners of the world, especially in developing countries. And right now we are working with them to develop what is very accessible to cancer patients. But they are now having these mobile units in order to do cervical cancer checkup. But they only can do it with a pap smear. And they are developing the new technology of pap smear that can reduce time from a matter of months or week into 2 hours. And our product is going to fulfill the gap, and they are very excited about this. Because if the pap smear turns out positive, they can use our product to identify the cancer right away. So all the process is going to be one stop. One visit, and that's it.
This is a really exciting product. I just had a question about your ramp-up plan. This strikes me as something with a bit of a long sales cycle. It takes a while from the first time you talk to a hospital till they give you the PO, till you deliver the product. And you're also actually going to have to make these. So I'm wondering how you can book so much revenue in year one. I would expect a medical device business to lose money for the first couple of years and then really start selling a lot.
For the product development, we have already received $1 million for product development funding, and in the first year, we plan to sell 13 units. And these 13 units is from the hospitals that we are doing the multi-center trial with them. So we have already built up our first group of customers already.
When will you actually produce those units? Will you produce those with the original $1 million of the grant?
That's why we asked for another 1 million for the second phase funding for for launching the DeepScan in Thai market and for the company's operation.
Okay, now one final question. Who is actually going to do the manufacturing? Have you identified a contractor, or is this something you're going to do yourselves?
Luckily, one of the largest optical manufacturing companies is actually located in Thailand. There are two major companies, so that shouldn't be the issue. So the process for assembly takes around 1 week only to actually assemble the whole unit, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we do everything in Thailand.
So a question about alternative potential technologies that could undermine your ability to secure the market share. I understand what the current process is. I'm curious also, it's a kind of related question, that it seems that there's an opportunity well beyond Thailand for this to be attractive. Are there other technologies that are very commonly used elsewhere that make this not as interesting, say in US or in Europe? Is the MRI cover cervical cancer checks in other places, or why haven't you talked about an international opportunity as well?
Yeah, so we are talking about two different modalities here. So MRI is called microscopic imaging. What we target is actually microscopic imaging. So cellular or cellular resolution, that's the thing that we are hunting for actually. Regarding the competing technologies, actually there are only a few confocal imaging probe actually available currently in the market, but not specifically for cervical cancer. So we'll be the first one to get the issue with that. But there are other type of cancer checking instruments, such as checking resistivity, checking the spectral imaging. But those are not imaging. Okay, so we will be the first one in cervical imaging.
And in that regard, are they competitive in terms, it might be a different methodology, but do they have the potential to undermine you either in accuracy, convenience, or price?
In a way, it's totally different modalities. They are not doing imaging per se because they are seeing the curve, peaks, values of the signal. So compared to the standard histology, we are the closest one to the pathologist. Essentially, the pathologist can actually see it and understand the image that we produce in real time. So I think that's one of the things that we are not trying to actually shooting for new things. Those pathologists have well-known training of the modalities of those images, so they can see it without having to use their microscope, but use our microscope.
I guess what would be the, say, the price point in comparison to your device of a different approach?
Compared to the competing technologies?
Yes.
Actually, they are not even in the market yet, so we don't know. I'm sorry, that's what we're trying to keep check on that too. They're not in the market yet. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that.
Okay, and then just one last thing. Do you have any sense of the percent of false negatives that you might get out of this? I know you're just doing trials, but I'm assuming you must have done some other type of testing?
Sure. We have some number in our minds, and something that above 75-50%, that's the target we have. Currently, it's actually less than 50% of specificity and correctly from the standard biopsy procedure. Okay, so those are the numbers that we try to find, and hopefully we'll achieve the number.
So just to be clear, in regard to false negatives, you would be at 75% of identification, meaning that 25% of people that might have cervical cancer would not be recognized?
Yes, yeah, but I think that's a standard, probably standard number compared to the imaging technology that we currently available in Poland and GI. Yeah, I think with the other imaging program that we have in, well, not company yet, but we also developed biomarkers that can help increase this number to be almost 90 or 95%. But that's in the pipeline of technology. We are not presenting those things today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, first I'd like to congratulate your group. I think this is something that's already probably could be a game changer for so many things, especially the inventor. I'd like to congratulate you. My only question, or actually reservation, is if the model itself is a social enterprise model. I think you have a great technology, and the way that you've chosen to roll it out, I think, is also probably the best way for this market. And as Steve had said, probably for the international market, there could be ways to also expand there. I'm just not exactly sure if the model itself is social enterprise per se, because sometimes the model is the one that determines whether one is a social enterprise or a pure enterprise. So my first question is, how did you come up with $45? What was the basis for that? And secondly is, since you're registering a lot of profit anyway from the first year onwards, although I think if you add your development cost, it's probably year 2. This year is probably year 2, right? Since you are registering profit anyway, maybe a third way, and this is just a suggestion on how you can roll this out, is you could probably even price it higher for some of the more expensive hospitals, and then send out the machines for free in the very rural areas or at a much lower cost. No? So maybe even a subsidized strategy, aside from the pay-per usage strategy. So maybe you could tell us about how you came up with $45.
Let me go back to your first question, why we come up with $45. Okay, let us show you in the presentation we mentioned about our two first initial target group of customer, which is the specialized hospital, large size of hospital, and the other one is the general hospital or the major hospital in each province. So that's the reason that we target these two groups first is because they already do the cancer check, and actually our vision is to make it become more accessible to even those 900 hospitals that in the community. But we target this group first because we have to, the price that we charge to them is affordable to them. They are the early adopter of the technology, and when the times go by, when we can reach more market and make the cost even lower, we can access to those, the other group of the hospital as well. And this $45 is the price that is competitive to that current cost of doing that cancer diagnosis, because currently this general hospital need to send the tissue back to the specialized hospital for the lab process, and that costs about $100. So with the price of $45, it is still cheaper than the current one. And we provide them two options. For example, the large size hospital, they can buy at one time at about $92,000 at that one time. But for the general hospital, we have lower budget. We can place the equipment at no upfront cost and then charge them per usage basis.
And we also already talked to our potential customers and offer this price, and they say this price is not a problem for them. If the technology works, they will never have it.
That's exactly my point. Maybe you could actually, well, one is to have it financed now, which is the usage thing, no? But the other way, since 92,000, I don't know how long the machine will work, but I'm assuming it will work for a long time. I'm sure they can make up the cost eventually and even earn from it. No? So you could actually charge them even 1.5 times more, $92,000, for example, and then have another program for other areas where it's really, well, where the access is really very difficult. I mean, the lady that you had mentioned earlier, what was her name? Okay, I cannot pronounce that, but that lady, she will still have to travel 5 hours to get herself checked, because where she is, your machine won't be readily available yet. No? So the goal, I think, is to get to all the places where it's not accessible now. Be as fast as you can in getting to those areas. Maybe they can just respond quickly, one sentence. Just a sentence, yeah.
Let me answer one
It's a hand
sentence. By selling to general hospital, that's 320 hospitals. Every province of Thailand is going to have one of these machines. So, Pastor doesn't have to travel 5 hours to Thailand anymore. It's just go up their home and then walk across the street to the.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. DeepScan.